Marcus Hernandez. And then after that, it will be Kendall Blunt. Okay, let's see what I have. Is this the question about transferring him back to regular caseload, or is there something else?
No, Judge, just, the overall status of where he is with his cases. There are 2 cases. And he was on for 6 years and he's already been extended an additional 4 years. So we're getting toward the end of his term. February will mark the end of the term. However, he, due to circumstances, has been unable to pay his fees. I think you wanted to talk to him about that.
All right, so what I can tell you, and I will listen to you with an open mind, but the report I received, and I don't know if that's still the case or not, they say that you haven't provided proof of your disability. Have you provided that?
Well, I mean, not recently, but I mean, I've done it multiple times. Yes, ma'am, I have.
All right, so the report I'm receiving is that you haven't provided proof of your disability, so they need that.
Okay.
So you wanted to address the restitution? Well, there's no restitution. You wanted to address the fees?
Oh, I don't know, ma'am. They just told me to come. I don't.
Well, I see here that are you still living with your mother?
No. I live on Fredericksburg Road
No, I mean, who do you live with?
with me and my kids and her mother and mom.
All right. So you're unemployed because
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
getting SSI.
Yes, ma'am.
And is the mother of the children employed?
No, she doesn't.
Why not?
Just me and my 2 daughters get Social Security. That's all I pay for everything.
So why do your 2 daughters have Social Security?
3 of my daughters are partially deaf. They wear hearing aids,
Okay,
so they get it for that. For their deaf hearing, their disability is their deaf.
all right. And so does your girlfriend have children?
Yeah, them, my kids.
Your children are her children?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I didn't know those were her biological.
Oh, yes,
children.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, so this is what I don't understand. You have fees that you're supposed to pay.
Yes, sir.
You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You're receiving SSI. You're gonna turn over information that you're receiving
Oh, yes,
SSI.
ma'am. I mean, well, I have the paper, but it's probably from like last year, year before that, so I probably have to get a new one, right?
And then your children receive SSI.
Yes, ma'am.
And the children's mother doesn't work.
Oh,
Does she have a disability?
yes, so yeah, somewhat, she's trying to get Social Security for herself.
For what?
She's a little nuts in her head. She's got some bipolar, schizophrenic bipolar or something like that.
So is she on medication?
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
That's why earlier I called because she has a doctor's appointment with her psychiatrist tomorrow. Cause I was supposed to come, I had to pick up my kids today, but I kept them home, so they switched it, but I said, well, she has an appointment
how old are your
tomorrow.
children?
8, no, 9, 5, 4, and 2.
All right, so you switched appointments for them?
Yeah, well, my daughter, my 2-year-old, she goes to speech therapy for, like I said, her deaf. So
Mhm.
she goes to speech therapy and sees her other therapist every Tuesday.
All right,
Judge, the SSI proof
Mhm.
that we have scanned in the system was April 2022. So we would need something updated.
So I have to get I mean, it's probably gonna take a while because I gotta call them to mail me the form, you know. I just gotta call him.
all right, you need to do that.
Yes, ma'am. But like I said, I do it, they just never really told me to do it again, so I.
All right, so you're learning now,
But I'll do it.
so you need to have that done. And
Do
is
you
that
need for me and my 2 kids or just mine?
just yours?
Okay,
Judge, he has completed everything else on probation, all of his other mandated courses. His UAs have been coming out fine. He does have prescriptions on file and also his medical information on file on why he would, yeah. So the only issues that we're having is, like I said, the fees on both cases. he's coming to the point to where he can't be extended.
Okay, well, I want you to get that information to probation, because until you get that to them, then I don't have proof of your disability.
No,
So you need to get that. And then with regards to your mental health issues, are you still seeing a psychiatrist?
Yes,
Do you have a
ma'am.
case manager?
Yes, ma'am. No, I don't have a case manager, but I see my psychiatrist, not 3 times, every 3 months I see her.
Okay, and is everything going okay with you?
Yeah, for the most, yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so what we'll do, once he turns in that letter of disability, then probation, you can send the appropriate paperwork and I'll consider it.
Yes, Judge.
All right, do you have any other questions or issues?
No, so just mine though, right now, my kids, just my,
Yours.
okay. Yes.
All right, thank you. And probation, this is an application. All right, court is calling 2023 CR 8808, State of Texas versus Jasmine Hunt. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Michael Collins, attorney for defendant, present and ready, Your Honor.
Are you Ms. Hunt?
Yes.
Counsel, I'm showing you what's entitled discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
I have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Hunt, I'm gonna show you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes.
Showing you the true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of assault of a pregnant person? That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Off the record, Ms. Blake, Angela, you all need to take it to that end to speak with her on that end. All right, we're back on the record. Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Sure. Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Well, she has, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I believe she does, Your
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Honor. I do, Your Honor.
Ms. Hunt, has anyone threatened you, forced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
Motion, please.
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promise you anything other than the plea?
Did we make any promises to you?
Has anyone promised you anything other than what your plea bargain agreement is? You want to step back and just, I'm sorry,
No, Your Honor.
are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, there's a $1,500 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. There's restitution, if any, to. Did you understand that to be the plea? Defense,
It is, Your Honor.
state,
Yes, Your Honor.
showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 5 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 200 hours of community service restitution, and no contact. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Contest.
State, any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor. I offer State's Exhibit 1 and the attachments.
I've reviewed that with my client, Your Honor. We have no issues.
All right, and state, have you been in contact with the complainant?
No, Your Honor, we have not.
All right. All right, you may continue to confer. Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Is there anything you'd like, wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, she's been in jail now for 4 months. She's had a long time to think about this. She's expressed her remorse to me about this incident. She let her emotions get the better of her, Your Honor. She knows she made a mistake and that she wants to get out and get back to her family and make things right, Your Honor.
All right, how old are you?
21.
All right. When's the last time you had employment?
I haven't been, I'm currently on social security right now.
All right, what are you receiving Social Security for?
My disability.
What is your disability?
I currently don't know. I think it's my depression or anxiety.
All right, so this is the issue the court has about sentencing her today. It appears from reading the report, there are some mental health issues because this is not the first time that there's been issues at the house. And the reason why I say that, because I read in the police report that they were saying that she does get aggressive and become irate. And this entire incident was over the fact that her father or either her mother went to the grocery store, brought some items, came back, and she didn't like the items that were brought back. So then the complainant tells her, I tell you what, I'll take the items and I'll go to the store and get the items that you want. And then she starts beating up the complainant.
Yes, sir.
So there's something else going on here. I don't know if it's a mental health issue or what's going on, but I don't feel comfortable sentencing her until we have a mental health evaluation or something, because there's something else going on here. And if I send her out into the world and it is the holidays coming up, and the reason why I bring up the holidays, because for some people, the holidays are stressors. And right now, I don't even think it's appropriate for her to go back to the home with her father and mother. So we're going to set this for a sentencing date. And that's what we will do. I'm going to ask for a mental health evaluation. And if you would like to see, does she have any criminal history?
All I know is that she had a criminal mischief as a juvenile, and she had an assault case that was dismissed.
All right. If you want to check also to see if she does have mental health issues, to see if mental health court will accept her. If they will accept her, you can file a motion for a new trial state. If she is accepted into I think we're off the record. I think there's something else more that's going on here. If she's accepted into mental health court, will you all object to him filing the motion for new trial?
No, Judge, so that would be, is that like no, ma'am.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so that's what we will do. Norma, what's a date for sentencing for PSI? All right, we're going to do January 11th. And then counsel, you need to go directly over to mental health court to see if they will accept her. And if you'll explain the situation, Ms. Hunt, because it doesn't make any sense to the court that somebody not bringing you, an adult, the food or whatever items you wanted back from the store and you didn't like the items that they brought and you're not employed. And then you have a complainant offer to go and get you the items that you specifically want. I don't know how that turns into punching a pregnant person or beating up a pregnant person. So we're going to have to figure out what's going on. So PSI MIC evaluation, we'll be back on January 11th. And I know that mental health court, they're probably looking at accepting people in January.
So if I get their acceptance, will that, will we still be coming back on January 11th here?
No, if you get their acceptance and it's done before December 18th, you can come back. Or if it's done by December 18th, you can come back. And honestly, if they say, yes, we will accept her, We will get it done.
Okay, I'm gonna check, because I have, I leave on vacation starting the 14th, so I will jump on it too. Later in there tomorrow, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Okay, all right, thanks.
Ms. Walker, I need to see you. And for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yeah,
All right. You're represented by Mr. Justin White of the law firm Lister, Holt and Dennis. Mr. White is with you here, and you are entering a plea to case 2023 CR 02956 Charmaine Walker for count 1 battery family violence, count 2 battery, count 3 simple battery family violence, count 4 simple battery, and count 5 trespass with damage. What is your client plea to the offenses before the court, Mr. White?
Count 1 and 5, she's pleading guilty, Your Honor. Other
All
counts
right.
to be merged.
By entering a plea of guilty to count 1 and 5, counts 2, 3, and 4 will merge with count 1. You give up the right to have a trial by jury or
I don't want
judge.
a trial.
I'm sorry?
I don't want a trial.
No, ma'am. You're giving up the right to have a trial in order to enter the plea.
Yeah,
All right, just listen. So by entering the plea, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to present evidence and testimony, to not incriminate yourself. And ma'am, if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
yeah.
All right. Factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Also, it's my understanding that the victim, Miss Dominique Trimble, is on the line and wishes to be heard as well.
All right.
On February the 10th of 2022, an officer was dispatched to 2404 Summer Court Drive, Jonesboro, Georgia, where the incident did occur in Clayton County. At that time, the officer was responding to a domestic disturbance call. He met with the victim, Ms. Trimble, who advised, the officer initially observed that the apartment window was broken and shattered, and that he observed blood droplets leading to the front door. That time, the officer met with the victim, Ms. Trimble, who advised that her daughter, the defendant, Ms. Walker, had caused the damage. The victim explained that there had been a verbal altercation initially because her daughter had taken her car and had kept the vehicle until 4 o'clock in the morning. And then when she asked to use it again, she refused to allow her because she had kept the vehicle all night. The verbal altercation turned into a physical altercation as the defendant attempted to close the door on the victim, her mother, and then punched her mother with her right fist.
Ms. Walker, I need to see you. You stay on. This your hearing. I need to see you the whole time. In fact, lower the camera so I can see your whole face. Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Janvier.
Okay. The defendant.
Are you laying down in the bed? If you don't get yourself up, I will issue a bench warrant right now.
Laying down, I'm standing up. I'm leaning
Okay.
against the railroad. If I was laying down, I would have been way more comfortable, but
Well,
I'm
sit down somewhere, Ms. Walker.
okay.
The defendant was attempting or continuing to swing punches in her mother's direction. At that point, her mother was able to restrain her to stop her from swinging, and then she called the police for assistance. The officer did observe the damage to the window and dents to the front door. Additionally, there was some damage to the victim's vehicle as well, and the officer observed like I said, the damage to the window, the dents to the front door. Also observed large knot and small scratches on the victim's forehead. And observed the damage to the vehicle that was caused by a green broomstick. And the officer was able to observe paint scratches, dents, and scuffs that matched the green broomstick, and the victim advised that the damage was done by the defendant, Ms. Walker.
Ms. Trimble, before I speak and before they give me the recommendation, does your daughter have any documented mental health issues or behavioral health issues? You have to unmute.
I'm sorry. No, when she was in school, when she was placed on IEP in school, they had her on a behavioral plan as well, but outside of that, no.
Okay, all right, thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Janvier, recommendation.
Yes, Your Honor, the state was recommending 12 months to serve 2 days, credit for the time that she's already served, the balance to be probated with a fine of $300, family violence intervention program, 40 hours of community service, and no contact with the victim, Ms. Trimble. Counts 2, 3, and 4 would merge. Count 5 would be 12 months probation to run concurrent with count 1, plus any restitution that the victim was requesting. But I believe I understand that she's not requesting any restitution.
Okay. How old is Ms. Walker? How old are you?
21.
All right, Ms. Trimble, where's Ms. Walker living now?
She lives 3 hours away from me
Okay,
in
good.
Atlanta. I live in Pooler.
Okay.
However, yesterday when I had spoke with the victim advocate, because she had asked me if I had wanted no contact, and I told her that's not what I wanted. I wanted to have contact because she has a son that I do have a relationship with that I would like to remain in contact with. So the no contact part, I if my opinion matters in that part, the no contact part, I didn't want. I wanted to have contact because we haven't had an incident with each other since that day.
All right, Ms. Walker, I'm gonna hear from your attorney and then we're gonna have a conversation. Mr. White?
Okay.
Your Honor, I just ask you accept the plea, Your Honor.
Ms. Walker, you're a mom, so you're gonna experience a lot of what your mama has experienced. And listen to me. If you allow your child to treat you,
it's not, that's not even,
ma'am,
the stuff happened with parents.
you're here
so
for
it's
whatever
not
Ms.
I
even-
Walker.
say
I'm
you're
not
here
trying to really
for.
do that. I'm trying to hear
All right,
myself,
I'm not
think.
accepting the
Walker.
plea. I'm not accepting the plea. She's gonna do jail time. If she takes a plea before me, she's gonna do jail time.
What do you mean? Because it's like you telling me
If
I'm a mom and
you
it
keep
didn't.
talking,
Miss
you're gonna do more
listen,
jail
I
time.
didn't get to say my
just
side
listen,
when it just
Shemaine.
happened.
Shemaine, ma'am, please.
Ms. Val,
give me
Ms. Camille, I need a
uh,
contempt order, 20 days.
20
oh my
days
God.
for what?
Shemaine, just be quiet. This is what
I'm
everybody be
trying
talking to
to,
you
like, I'm
about.
trying to-
Just be
okay.
quiet. Just listen to her and be quiet. Just be quiet. You're never going to like anything that everybody says to you. It doesn't matter.
No,
Just
she
be
grown,
quiet
Miss
and
Trouble.
listen.
See, she grown. No, see, she gonna learn because she
I
out here
didn't
single
learn. I'm
mom.
trying to tell you
Miss
my side
Miss
of the
Walker, you got
story.
your 20 days.
She's not
so you just
asking you.
quiet
She's
for a
not
minute.
asking you for your side of the story. She's just asking for you to listen. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back on mute. I can't hear.
She about to get 20 days for direct contempt before the court. And this is why you're having the problems that you're having, because she thinks she grown and that she doesn't have to be responsible to anybody. But I will tell you that anybody who attacks their mother, takes their car, and then thinks that they don't have to listen to a judge who's trying to put them on the right path, that's a problem. She ain't even she ain't even fit to be out here in polite society. I don't want her walking around because she's a danger to others. I don't even think she should have her child. Because if she doesn't know how to act for somebody to benefit her, she can't be a good mom. And I'm just gonna say it. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, so she signed off, bench warrant, get it for me. I'm not playing today. She gonna learn today. If she can't control herself enough to listen while somebody is trying to talk about the behavior that got her before a judge and 2 days in jail, that's a problem for me. Because what I believe is this little sentence here, she's going to be a problem for probation. I'm not trying to give probation officers a problem. They got enough. So she's not probation eligible. Whatever sentence y'all come up with when she comes back the next time after this bench warrant, it's not going to be probation.
I'm sorry, Jess, because I wasn't trying to get in
No,
the
ma'am,
way of
it's not
what you were
you.
saying. I was just
But
telling her to
she's
be. I was just
grown.
trying to tell her to be quiet.
I
No,
get
I
it.
get it. I was just
You're
trying to tell
a-
her to be quiet.
As a mother, you're trying to save her from herself, but obviously that's not possible. But what she's not going to do is disrespect me or the process. It's not even about me, but it's about the fact that I sit in this role and I have a job to do. And she's not going to have a tantrum on this. She's not. No, ma'am. So there's going to be a bench warrant issued for her. She'll be picked up. You might want to put your name out there to take her child. And the next recommendation is either going to be a trial or she's going to take a plea with jail time, because I'm not satisfied with her being on probation. I don't believe she's probation eligible. I'm not going to put that on a probation officer. Because
And
that
see,
kind of attitude, I get paid enough to deal with it. They do not. Not. And if I'm not going to deal with it, I'm surely not going to put it on them. No, ma'am. So after she finished having her little tantrum, then she can figure out that I'm not playing.
Your Honor, she is back on.
My
Zoom.
phone died.
Mr. White, you may need to step into a breakout room and explain to her what she needs to do in order for me to undo what I'm about to do.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because she's been held in direct contempt of the court.
If she can, because like I said, I'm not trying to step in the way of.
Mr. White, can I go into a breakout room with you?
Yes.
She's gonna put you in a breakout room. I'm not trying to step in the way of.
I get it, Ms. Walker, and I get what you're doing. Please don't misunderstand. I'm a mom.
No,
So
I'm not trying to step. I'm not trying to step in that way. You're right, and I'm not trying to step in the way of that. I'm not trying to step in the way of that. But it's like, you know, when it comes down to her child, like I try to be supportive, and sometimes
the problem
she can't.
is, Miss Trimble, is she's raising
Sometimes she
a
can't
child.
get it right. And sometimes she can't get it right, and sometimes this happens, and she has the potential. She has the potential to get it right, and like I said, that's why I moved. That's why I had moved. You know what I'm saying? 3 hours away, just so I wouldn't be the support system or the go-to support system, because even when I do have him, sometimes, you know what I'm saying, like I can tell when he misses his mom. I don't know. I've tried. You know what I'm saying? Like as a parent, I've tried, and I don't want to see her. I don't want to see her
now, though.
I
She's an
know.
adult, and I get everything that you're saying. But she's an adult and she has to face some harsh consequences. The consequences being that if you act up like this, your child suffers. You might suffer a little bit, but your child is going to suffer a lot. That's the point I'm trying to make to her before she popped off. That was the point I'm trying to make for her. It is not about you anymore. It is about that little boy that you brought into this world that didn't ask to be here, but he needs stability. He needs somebody who's going to be responsible. He needs somebody who's not going to have a tantrum that's going to take them away from him, where she has to do time while he's out there swinging in the wind. That's the point I was trying to make to her before she lost it.
And I know that. And that's what we try to tell her about. And it's like, and I tell her, a lot of stuff can be solved if you just shut your mouth. Because you don't have to say everything that comes to mind. There's stuff that I want to say that comes to mind, but I'm also old enough to know that not everything needs to be said. And that's what I was trying to say to her. I wasn't trying to get in the way of.
No, ma'am, I get you. I get you.
That's all that I was trying to say to her.
You were trying to save her from herself, but I get it. But Mr. White knows me and he knows how I work. When she comes back, she'll be right. We're gonna
So
work all of
she-
this out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take Mr. Arendado's plea. When Mr. White comes back with Miss Walker, then we'll resume that one. Ms. Bermudez. Ms. Walker. Mr. White.
Your Honor, I believe Ms. Walker has something she wishes to say to you.
Ms.
I
Walker.
apologize.
Ms. Walker, you will find that life will be very, very hard when you go forward the way that you're going. I know you don't think that because you feel like you know everything at this point and you need to say everything that comes out of your mouth. But I'm a whole judge and I don't get to say everything that comes into my head. I really don't. I have to censor myself so hard sometimes it's not even funny. Because there's a time and a place to say things. And sometimes when you're so busy talking, you're going to miss that nugget of information you need to get something better for yourself because you think you know everything. But there are people who have already walked the path that you're walking, and they can give you a little bit of help or give you a shortcut, save you a little bit of hurt or time or energy, but you're not going to get that because you're so busy popping off at the mouth. First of all, it's rude. Second of all, you're raising a whole son. And if that's the way you're going to treat him, how to treat you, that's the way you're going to treat your mother, that's exactly how he's going to treat you. That is exactly what you're going to get back from him. Because that's what you're telling him. This is how we treat mamas. This is how we treat our mother. So you're going to raise a child who, instead of going out to conquer the world and getting better than you could ever imagine for him, he's going to be in an orange jumpsuit right about the time I'm ready to retire. Because you're the example he'll be following. You don't have a car. You need to use your mama's car. But instead of going at it with an approach that says, hey, mom, I appreciate you letting me use your car, a very valuable asset that if something happens to her car, she may lose her job. You could lose your job and your place to stay if you don't have a car. But instead of saying, hey, mom, thank you for letting me use your car. I'm going to need to use it again. So I put gas in it. I made sure I didn't leave any junk in it. I want to show you appreciation for letting me use something that's very important to you. But instead, you abused it the first time. And then when she says, no, you can't use it this time, then you go berserk and spend 2 days in jail, leaving your child without a mama. Which seems to be easy for you because there is no decision I would make that would ever knowingly leave my child without me. I ain't going to jail for nobody because my children aren't going to be sitting there wondering where I am. And you think, oh, well, they don't know. Kids know. I don't care how small your son is. He knows there's a disruption in his atmosphere. He knows if there's anger. He knows if there's an issue pending where you're not doing well or his grandmother's not doing well or he's not doing well because the force around him has changed. And so if you're going to be the kind of mama that raises a child who's going to go out and conquer the world instead of being beaten down by the world, then every once in a while, all of that talk, you're going to have to pull that way back. You're going to have to be a little bit humble. Trust me. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I sit in this position, but I realize that it is not a position of power for me to abuse. So if somebody steps in front of me in the grocery store, you know what I do? I move back so they can get their grocery cart in front of me. Do I challenge them? No, because why? What do I gain from it? Got a whole lot to lose. When you realize what you have to lose by all that popping off at the mouth, when it becomes cognizant to you that by doing that, I threaten the welfare and safety of my son. I leave him without a mama. Man, these streets too wild for the stuff you trying to pull. You pulling it on your mama, but pull that out in the street. I watched somebody pull a gun and put it to a FedEx driver's head in traffic due to a traffic offense. People shooting each other for cutting them off in traffic, popping off at the mouth. You might want to regulate that because it's happening daily. So when you think, I don't want to hear all this, maybe it's something you need to hear. Maybe it's something you need to hear. Because the last thing you want is something to happen to you and your mama has to raise a child that she didn't ask to even have. I know she loved her grandbaby. That's why she crying. Because she knows you grown, but she loves that grandbaby. But she shouldn't have to raise them because you do something stupid. I talked to way too many grandmothers who, instead of living their lives, going on cruises, hanging out with their girls, living the best life that they can live after they have worked all these years and raised their kids, now they're stuck raising grandchildren because their children didn't know how to act. And you are the very example of that. So I'm sorry you don't want to hear it, but I'm going to tell you, I feel like this is my job. Because I feel like I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to the mother of that child who, when you mess up, you leave him abandoned. When you mess up, you don't know who's taking care of him. When you mess up, then that baby's out there wondering where his mama is. We clear?
Yes.
And I really don't think you're a good candidate for probation. Because if you're going to pop off like that to me, I don't want to put you on probation and have some poor probation officer who has way too many cases already having to deal with your attitude because you don't feel like doing what I told you to do. Probation is a privilege. It means I am keeping track of you, but I'm allowing you to be on the outside because you can still live your life, as opposed to what I really can do, which is put you in jail until I'm satisfied. And then let you out and be done with the case. I don't have to worry about somebody having to monitor you. I don't have to worry about somebody having to deal with your attitude or your bad day. Because no matter what day I have, I don't bring it to work. Nobody deserves my bad day. And nobody deserves yours. Nobody did it but you. Everything, every decision you make contributes to whether you have a good day or a bad day. But that ain't nobody else's fault. Everything that happened between you and your mother was choices you made. That's nobody else's fault, not mine or anybody else's. And I'll be doggone if I'm going to sit here and listen to you flip off at me like I'm the problem, like I'm the reason you're here. Personal responsibility. Once you start realizing that the choices you make are why you end up where you end up, then you'll make better choices so you can end up in a better place. I'm so clear on that. I see it all day, every day. I recognize it in myself. When you make better choices, you end up in a better place. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So all that popping off at the mouth at 20 years old, like you got the wisdom of somebody who has lived, you barely there. You are barely there. You don't even know. And if you continue along this path, you don't even know what's coming at you. You're barely there. So I suggest, for the strong support that your mother is to you, I suggest that you not abuse her. Because she actually wants to have no violent or harassing contact with you instead of no contact. And you know what? No contact would hurt her heart because she loves her grandbaby, but no contact would devastate you because you're going to need her. In the next 12 months, you're going to need your mama. I know it. I can predict it. I can already tell. You're going to need her more than she needs you. She's trying to save you. But I personally, I'm thinking maybe if I did no contact, that would give her a break. She wouldn't have to worry about sending you no money. She wouldn't have to worry about no panic call. She wouldn't have to worry about you coming back to show up to leave the child with her because you got something to do and you don't have nobody to keep your baby. She wouldn't have to worry about any of that. She could go to the gym and work out. She could sleep late on Saturdays and Sundays. She could go and do things for herself. That money that she would be sending you, she could go on a cruise. She could do all of those things for herself instead of worrying about you for the next 12 months. That would be a vacation for her.
Okay.
All right. You're going to learn. You still in that little mode of my little feelings hurt, so I got to show everybody this ain't hurting me. But you're going to learn. All right. I still don't feel like she's a probation candidate. I really don't. And a probation candidate, I mean, like, is she live in Clayton County?
From my understanding, she does
What?
not, Your Honor.
Where she live?
Ms. Walker,
Yes. Yes,
where where do you live, Ms. Walker?
South Fulton.
So then I'm gonna have issues where she can't get to court because she don't have transportation and she got a baby.
I do
She's gonna
have
be telling up.
transportation.
All right, then I better never hear that as an excuse. Miss Chang, whoever's the probation officer who supervises her, yeah, I better never hear that as an excuse. We clear? Miss Walker, I will accept, because they direct us in judge school to always give you an opportunity to apologize when you have been contemptuous in court. Instead of giving you that straight 20 days, I could give you the opportunity to apologize. You have come back and apologized. I still don't think you mean it, but I'm gonna let you have that. But you're gonna do this. I still don't feel like you're a probation candidate, but I'm gonna try it. And only for your mama interceding on your behalf. If it wasn't for your mama, you'd be going back to jail. But yeah, I'm gonna try it. But the first mess up, all of this is gonna come back. First mess up, first probation revocation, first time you come back before me, all of this is gonna come back to my mind. It is. So I'm going to accept your plea of guilty to counts 1 and 5. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 2 days. Balance credit for time served. Balance will be probated for you to pay a fine in the amount of $300. That's going to be $444 with the surcharges. So that's the total. You're to take a family violence intervention program course. That's 24 sessions. And you have to attend all 24 sessions. If you miss more than 3, they'll make you start the class all over again. And you have to be able to finish all 24 sessions within the 12 months. You'll do 40 hours of community service. You'll have no violent or harassing contact with Miss Dominique Trimble. And the only reason that's there is because she loved her grandbaby. And that's my gift to her for putting up with your foolishness. Counts 2, 3, and 4 will merge with count 1. Count 5 will be 12 months probation to run concurrent with count 1. And no violations of the laws of the state of Georgia. All right. So now, Miss Walker, I'm going to put you in a breakout room with the probation intake expert. Miss Chang, who is now doing intake? Is Mr. Carmichael still doing intake until a certain date? Mr. Carmichael, you still doing intake until a certain date?
I'm still here, Your Honor. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Carmichael. I knew y'all weren't gonna leave me by myself. All right. So, Ms. Walker, I'm gonna put you in a breakout room with Mr. Carmichael. Now, I want you to. Where'd she go?
She's still on the Zoom, Your Honor.
I want you to ask him all the questions that you need to ask him that involve your situation. So if you got a job that you work crazy hours, ask about those things so that he can give you instructions as to all of those things. And the best way to get rearrested is to not show up for probation. So please make sure that you attend all of your probation reports as directed. If there's trouble doing any of the other things with probation, share that with your probation officer. All right. So let's see. Did she go into the breakout room? Bless her heart. I'm gonna pray for you, Miss Trimble, that you don't have to end up raising your grandson and that things work out better.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Collier and Davenport.